Hi, everyone. All right, we are going to jump right on in. If you are, what? Never mind. Okay. If the government shutdown of 2025 impacted your salon or barbershop, then you are going to want to be paying close attention right now because Congress has not yet passed the remaining of the budget bill. And so there could be there could be a potential government shutdown if it's not resolved by January 30th. And, um, there were some salons and barbershops impacted in 2025. And so I just want to make sure that you understand the impacts, how this may impact your salon or your barbershop. My name is Jennifer Drew. I am the founder and CEO of Hair CEO. We are a business advisory and accounting firm helping self employed hair professionals and hair business owners run legitimate, profitable, and bankable businesses. And we do that by providing coaching, bookkeeping, accounting, and tax services. Oh, yeah, and business formation. So, those are the services that we offer. And today I want to break this down on how another potential government shutdown could impact salons and barbershops. So today is jam packed, but I have my notes here. And so the first thing I want to talk about is how, this government shutdown that we experienced in 2025 to date was the longest government shutdown in US history. And the important thing to understand is that this particular government shutdown was really hinging on the topic of health insurance, um, subsidies and tax credits for the Affordable Care Act, for the health insurance, which some people call Obamacare. And this impacted a lot of my clients directly in the sense that there are hair professionals and barbers and business owners who use that Affordable Health Care Act to have health insurance for themselves and for their families. And I was, one of my clients, we were talking about 2026, and we were looking at her healthcare premiums for 2025 for her and her children. And her healthcare premiums were about $300 in 2025. But as you may or may not know, right now we're in that enrollment period for 2026. And because technically the premiums, the subsidies and the tax credits expired December 31st, 2025, those premiums have gone like skyrocket high. And so this stylist who was paying $300 a month checked, and her premiums are now going to be $650 a month for the same exact health insurance for her and her kids. Another stylist, single, she was paying $200 a month under the same Affordable Health Care Act with the premium tax credit. Um, she was paying $200 a month. We logged on to see to the marketplace to see how much her insurance would be for 2026, and her shot up $800. We were like blown away because these insurance premiums directly impact, of course, how much money you spend a month for your, health insurance. Um, and while most business owners, this is not a business expense like your health insurance. But if you are self employed, a lot of self employed hair professionals and, hair business owners can write off 100% of their healthcare premium. So, what you're paying per month for healthcare, if you're self employed, majority of you can write off 100% of that healthcare premium that you're paying. So this, you really want to be paying attention to what's going on in Congress. And this is so important because yesterday, January 8th, Thursday, the House has passed a bill that includes extending these healthcare Affordable Health Care Act premium subsidies and tax credits, they passed a bill that will extend it for 3 years. But it's going to the Senate now. And the Senate has to approve it. And if the Senate approves it, then it'll go to Trump's desk for him to sign. So, this has to happen by January 30th. Now, I don't know if the Senate is going to pass it or not, but as a business owner who is impacted directly by this, you really want to be paying attention. Now, let me make sure I'm covering all my things. Okay, so how were salons and barbershops impacted in 2025 with this shutdown? First off, canceled appointments. There were a lot of people who had clients that worked for the federal government and they were furloughed. They weren't getting paid. And so when people aren't getting paid, they are cutting out certain things from their, weekly, monthly expenses. And one of those things were hair appointments, whether that was a haircut, whether that was getting a lock retwist or, the weave tightened up, whatever it was, people were canceling those appointments, which also means a lot of my clients, their income was going down. And then there is the empathy part. A lot of you guys have very close relationships with your clients. And so you're hearing the stories of your clients having that fear of, what's going to happen to my job? I have bills to pay. Am I going to make my mortgage payment? Like that impacts you. I hear all the time about how, hair professionals carry so much weight and energy from their clients because the clients are sharing those personal stories with you. And so those are just some of the ways in which salons and barbershops were impacted by this government shutdown. And so knowing that we may even have to go through this again come, a few weeks from now, it's a little scary. Now the I want to kind of break down what these subsidies, what this means, right? So let's talk about it. Right now, if you're self-employed and you don't qualify for another employer's health insurance, you're looking at premium. So we're going to say, let's say a premium, this is your health insurance. And I don't know why I drew this shape, but I did. So let's say it's $1,000 for this insurance premium, right? On the market through, whatever healthcare provider is in your area. The government was offering subsidies, meaning they would pay a portion of this $1,000 premium directly to the insurance companies so that the government, let's say the government, let's like, insurance. And this was government. So they were paying, let's say they were paying $600 directly to the insurance companies. And then you were only responsible for $400 a month. That is what this looks like. Okay. So that's for, if you were getting this tax credit, for insurance and paying less, then that's how this was working. And if this doesn't get passed, right, if those extensions, if the Senate doesn't extend it for another 3 years, then that's why you would have to pay the $1,000 because this government assistance would go away completely if it's not extended. All right, so now that we know how that works and how it's impacting self-employed hair professionals and hair business owners, the other thing to note is that what you're paying in this premium is actually, it can be, there have to be some qualifications, there are some restrictions, but I'm telling you, the overwhelming majority of self-employed hair professionals and hair business owners, whether you're paying $1,000 or $400, it can be 100% tax deductible. And so, what this means is that you need to pay attention because this is going to impact you in a few different ways. The first way is that you may need to raise your prices. And I know this is always such a sensitive subject because everybody on the internet wants to complain about how barbers and hairstylists are raising their prices and for what reason. And I hate the fact that this industry has to justify their prices. I kind of get it because there are a lot of hair professionals who are just charging prices and then, going out and buying all this, extravagant whatever, the clothes, the bags, the shoes. And so when you have folks out here really raising prices because of health insurance, because of the rising cost of supplies, these tariffs are a real thing, right? Like the cost of everything has gone up. And so people get really offended when your prices go up, but this is a real life thing. The folks that come to you, 9 times out of 10, they're not business owners. So they don't have to worry about paying all of their insurance on their own if they have a job that has health insurance benefits. And so I take this very seriously. I hate it when, especially like clients that I work with, right? Because clients who work with an accounting firm, like they're serious about their money, they're serious about how they price. And so, yes, we take this stuff into consideration. If your health insurance premiums are going up from $400 to $1,000, yeah, your prices need to reflect that. Everybody else's prices reflected. Amazon, when the tariffs rolled in, guess what? Their prices went up. So much so, they wanted you to know why. So they put, before who talked about how he didn't like that, but they put there, this price went up X amount because of tariffs. Yeah, because they were being transparent. Well, if your insurance prices are going to go up, then yes, you need to revisit your prices. And I know a lot of you have already implemented price increases for 2026, and it kind of sucks because this is a real possibility that these health insurance premiums may go through the roof. And if you're paying for your health insurance and you didn't take that into consideration before your price increase for 2026, then guess what? You might have to raise those prices or you're going to have to eat the margin. So that's something that you want to keep in mind because it does impact pricing and your direct cost. Another thing is that with your health insurance going up, you want to be careful about how you move before this bill passes or trying to figure out, what your next steps are. So a few tips. The first one I would recommend is don't make any bulk purchases right now. You want to be very careful about your cash flow and where your money is going. And so you just want to look at what you're spending. And, I think the inventory is a real easy one where money can just eat up and you can buy things that aren't necessarily moving. So you're going to want to be careful about what you're spending your money on. And then, of course, I would look at revisiting your prices with being realistic. Go on the marketplace right now before, like you can log on. I think enrollment is until like the 15th, I think. And it may get extended, because of this bill. I don't know. But go on the marketplace. Log in, put in your information, see what the healthcare premiums will be for yourself. I know a lot of like independent contractors, if you're, self-employed hair professional, a lot of you just think that you can't have benefits. That's why a lot of people leave the industry. I've seen so many barbers and hairstylists say, oh, well, I need a real job because I need benefits. What? Give yourself the benefits. You can give yourself the benefits. You just have to make sure you're working it into your prices. And yes, that might mean an increase. And the internet needs to stay out of our business with how much we're charging because, yes, you have a life and you have to live and you have to provide for yourself and your kids and your family. I get really hot about this. So let me calm down. What am I time? I'm already at 15 minutes. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap it up because it's been 15 minutes already. But essentially, what I want to say is that this is not to scare you, this is to prepare you. A government shutdown will not destroy your business, but you have to be prepared. And, a government shutdown might impact your cash flow. And so I just want you to be prepared. It's, all about making the right decisions, being strategic right now, and making sure you pay attention to the news and how it impacts you. And also, if you're watching this and you're like, wait a minute, I've been paying for healthcare premiums and I have not known that that was a deduction for me, then you're working with the wrong accounting firm. And I want to invite you, if you are a self employed hair professional or you have a hair business, whether it's products, services, both, mobile, whatever, I'm going to leave the link in the description. I would love to work with you, filing taxes or business advisory, accounting services 2026, whatever it is that you need help with. Contact us with the description, with the link in the description. And again, I'm Jennifer Drew, founder and CEO of Hair CEO, where we help self-employed hair professionals and hair business owners run legitimate, profitable, and bankable businesses. And I will see you tomorrow in this series, 2026 Tax Talk.